Before there was Galactus, there was only a man, a being named Galen, born from the last breath of a dying universe. He was not a god then, not yet, just a scientist, watching the stars die one by one, as the great cosmic collapse swallowed everything into darkness. When that universe ended, he stood at its edge, facing the cosmic egg that would one day birth the next reality. But the dying energies of creation called to him, whispering, "Become the bridge between what was and what will be." That was the moment when death met rebirth. Galen was consumed by the cosmic fire, the last heartbeat of an ancient universe merging with the sentience of eternity. And when the new universe exploded into existence, he was reborn as something beyond mortal understanding. He would awaken drifting in the void, alone, colossal and radiant. No memory of who he had been, only the endless hunger that came with his birth. The newborn stars trembled around him. Worlds formed and crumbled in his presence. Celestials watched him rise, their vast eyes reflecting a question none could answer. Was this being a god or a mistake? To understand Galactus, you must understand scale itself. He is not just large, he defines largeness. His body can dwarf solar systems, his thoughts echo across galaxies, and his hunger consumes the very essence of existence. While other cosmic beings represent ideas, death, eternity, infinity, oblivion, Galactus represents balance. He is the correction that prevents creation from overwhelming itself. Yet even he did not know this truth at first. He only knew the hunger, an unending void within demanding energy, the life force of entire planets. And so he built his worldship, a cosmic vessel named TAA-2, forged from the remnants of the universe that birthed him. It floated through the cosmos like a mythic ark, carrying the Devourer of worlds across eternity. When Galactus first arrived at a young, flourishing world, he hesitated. He could feel the heartbeat of its core, the collective consciousness of billions of lives. And in that hesitation, a moment of pity. But hunger devours pity. His first meal would ignite his destiny. An entire civilization vanished, its oceans boiled into vapor, its cities turned to dust, and its light, its soul, absorbed into him. From that day on, the universe learned his name. Galactus, the devourer of worlds. Worlds feared his shadow, stars dimmed when his presence neared. Yet to the watchers, ancient beings who record all history, Galactus was not a curse, but a necessity. They understood that creation must destroy itself to stay in balance. That life without death, expansion without hunger, would eventually collapse under its own perfection. And so, the Watcher Watu, standing on Earth's moon, watched silently as Galactus consumed countless worlds, knowing one day he would come for Earth. But that was a story for another age. For now, the cosmos whispered in awe and terror, because the universe had given birth to a god who was not evil, but inevitable. He was the storm between worlds, the hunger that binds galaxies together, the cosmic judge who reminded creation that it could not grow forever. He was not chaos. He was balance in its purest, most terrifying form. And as the newborn galaxies spun around him, one truth echoed through eternity. Galactus does not destroy. He maintains. Yet deep inside that infinite hunger, a fragment of Galen still screamed. The man who once watched his universe die, now forced to repeat that death again and again. The universe moves in rhythm. Stars are born, burn bright, and fade. Worlds form, civilizations rise, gods walk, and then silence. But one constant remains. Galactus, eternal, unyielding, unforgiving. Across eons, his hunger only grew. It wasn't desire. It was law. His essence was tied to the very fabric of the cosmos. He must consume to live, and through his consumption, the universe survives. He wandered beyond nebulae, across realms untouched by time, devouring worlds ripe with cosmic energy. And wherever he fed, balance followed, a strange equilibrium between creation and decay. Yet, to the beings he destroyed, he was a monster, the destroyer of hope, the end of all. There came a time when the Celestials themselves confronted him. Those towering architects of life demanded an answer. "Why do you consume the seeds we plant?" they asked. But Galactus stood silent, his eyes burning like dying stars. Then, the voice of eternity itself filled the void. "The Devourer is my shadow. Where life blooms too freely, he prunes. He is the echo of creation's restraint." And so even the Celestials bowed, understanding that Galactus was not an enemy, but a function of the universe's survival. Still, Galactus hungered, not just for worlds, for understanding, for purpose beyond instinct. He began to question the cosmic order that birthed him. Why must his existence depend on destruction? Was there a way to feed without ending life? And for the first time in millennia, Galactus hesitated. It happened when he reached the planet Archaeopia, a jewel of a world filled with knowledge and peace. They had no weapons, no war, only harmony. Their leaders welcomed him not with fear, but with compassion. They offered their wisdom, believing they could reason with the Devourer. But Galactus's hunger roared within, tearing through their pleas like fire through paper. He devoured Archaeopia, and when the light faded, for the first time he wept. That was the day he built the heralds. He would no longer seek his meals blindly. He would send emissaries ahead, beings of light and power, to find worlds worthy of his hunger. The first of them was the Silver Surfer, a noble soul who traded his freedom to save his own planet. He became Galactus's eyes, his scout, his conscience. And through the Surfer, Galactus began to see the universe differently. Not as endless fuel, but as a living organism, one he was both part of and enemy to. Yet, even with his heralds, the hunger remained. Could not be cured, only redirected. Some worlds he spared, others he consumed, each choice echoing across eternity. The Silver Surfer often asked, "Do you ever regret it?" Galactus's answer was simple. "Regret is for those who have a choice. I am bound to my nature. The fire burns, the tide consumes, and I devour." As ages passed, his legend grew. Entire civilizations built religions around him. Some worshipped him as the god of renewal, believing his destruction brought rebirth. Others cursed his name in the ashes of their dying worlds. But few knew the deeper truth. Galactus did not exist within the universe. The universe existed because of him. He was the axis around which cosmic law spun, a being whose existence kept reality from unraveling into pure chaos. And still, beneath that infinite armor of light, the man named Gallen remained, trapped in the hunger, haunted by what he must do. In the farthest reaches of the cosmos, on a planet of energy and thought, a council of gods gathered. Odin, Zeus, the living tribunal, eternity itself. They spoke of one name, the one being who could not be judged. Galactus, because even the gods had limits, and he was beyond them. Odin asked, "Can such a being ever die?" The tribunal's three faces answered in unison. "He dies when existence itself ends, and when a new universe is born, he shall rise again." They looked upon the stars and saw his colossal silhouette moving between galaxies. A shape too vast to comprehend, yet too vital to erase. The universe itself whispered his truth. Galactus is not a villain. He is the pulse between creation and collapse. And though billions will fear his shadow, none can deny, without him, there would be no stars, no order, no balance. In the silent fabric of eternity, the truth about Galactus is whispered among the cosmic beings, but only a few truly understand it. He is not just a being who feeds on planets. He is the equilibrium of everything that ever was and ever will be. When he devours, the universe exhales. When he sleeps, creation runs wild. Without his hunger, galaxies would multiply without restraint, and reality itself would buckle under infinite growth. Galactus is not destruction, he is limitation given form. He is the end that makes beginnings possible. For eons, he wandered, his armor radiating like a dying star, his eyes reflecting the birth of galaxies he would one day consume. Even beings like death, eternity, and infinity spoke his name with respect, for he was not bound by their laws, he was their equal. In the realm beyond time, Galactus once stood before eternity, the very embodiment of existence. "Do you ever tire of the hunger?" Eternity asked. Galactus looked upon the endless stars and replied, "I do not hunger for sustenance. I hunger for meaning." That was the paradox of his being, a god who must destroy to preserve, a savior and a sinner, forever trapped between purpose and punishment. But there would come a moment when Galactus faced the one question he had never asked. What happens if I stop? That question arose on a world unlike any other, a planet that called itself Etherian. A place built by civilizations who had survived his coming before. They studied his nature, his patterns, his energies, his hunger, and they found something no one else had. They believed Galactus was sick. To them, the hunger was not his nature, it was his curse, a flaw born from the cosmic fusion that created him. They believed if that energy were purified, Galactus could exist without destruction. And for a brief moment, the Devourer allowed hope. He landed upon their shining world, letting their scientists study his aura, their prophets whisper their visions into his mind. And in their final ritual, they attempted to separate Gallen from Galactus, the man from the god. But when they tried, the universe trembled. The fabric of reality tore, stars flickered out like dying candles. Creation began to unravel, for the balance was being undone. Galactus roared, his voice shaking every atom in existence. "Do you not understand? If I am healed, the universe will fall sick." He unleashed his full power, and Etherian burned in white fire. The planet, the knowledge, the hope gone. Not out of anger, but necessity. In that moment, Galactus understood the absolute truth. He was not cursed. He was the cure. His hunger was the universe's way of resetting itself. His destruction the foundation of creation's survival. Without him, there would be no room for rebirth. He finally accepted his fate. From that day, he stopped searching for redemption. He became the cosmic constant, feeding, resting, existing. Yet he began to choose his worlds with purpose. He devoured planets beyond saving, worlds already consumed by war or corruption. And occasionally, he gifted knowledge to those who would one day face his shadow, to prepare them, not to defeat him, but to understand him. The Silver Surfer, once his reluctant servant, came to realize the same truth. Galactus does not end life, he said. He ensures it can begin again. In the grand design of the multiverse, Galactus is seen as one of the three pillars of reality, alongside death and eternity. Together, they maintain the infinite cycle: life, death, rebirth. And when the final star burns out, when the last light fades and time itself collapses, Galactus will remain, standing in the silence between universes, a lonely sentinel waiting for the next dawn. For when the next Big Bang erupts, he will awaken again, reborn as both destroyer and savior. Because Galactus is not the end of worlds. He is the heartbeat of creation, the pulse that keeps infinity alive. If you gaze into the deep night sky and see a star suddenly vanish, know this: it was not death, it was balance. The universe continuing its endless rhythm through the hunger of one eternal being. He is not good. He is not evil. He simply is. Galactus, the devourer, the restorer, the constant. The god who proves that even in destruction, there can be meaning.